houses.
You're very welcome back. It is the final part of the final daily rundown, and I've been rejoined by the fantastic Maddie Howard, she's got the giggles, and Mr. David Semple. On the daily rundown, we have spent most of our time here talking about three topics, much more than any other. Brexit, Trump, and of course Jeremy Corbyn. Because it's the final show, we kind of want to have like one final word basically from each guest on these topics, but we'll have a little bit of discussion before we go over to the gallery, because they're all getting a bit squiffy out there. I think they're all getting a bit messy now. There's things being thrown and everyone's kind of laughing. You're going to burst out laughing, I think, Maddie, any second. Let's start with Brexit.
Oh, I'm going to stop laughing.
Oh well, why? Well, yeah, I guess, but it's not the laughable kind of. It's not much kind of get your laughs out of, is it? Brexit. Yep. It's been the big topic, one of the big topics of the year, though.
Well, obviously, Brexit is
now
the biggest thing since we went into the. Heath took the country. I wasn't living here at the time, into the common market in 72, 73. So it's the biggest change, because that was the biggest change probably since the Glorious Revolution of 1688. It brings up constitutional change, because when Ted Heath was signing the thing, there was tons of European law next to him that was coming into British law. So Brexit changes all of that. And we have a Prime Minister who doesn't seem to know, or doesn't seem to want to tell anyone. I think she's quite dishonest with the public. She should be saying, this is my vision of Brexit, we're going to do this, and this is what I want. It's like secret negotiations and that sort of thing. Although David Davis, who is pretty much a clean Brexit guy, is up front. But I find that the Prime Minister herself is one without a vision. I mean, they didn't have, as we said earlier, they didn't have a second, in case they lost the referendum. And I think it's going to be a mess, the way they're doing it at the moment. A complete mess, which is going to make nobody happy.
Okay, let's move on to our other big topic of the year, just been kind of wrapped up recently, Jeremy Corbyn. Maddie, how do you kind of feel now that it's been, do you think it has been wrapped up, or do you think we've kind of put all that, his unelectable stuff to bed? And
I wish that would be the case, but I'm not so sure about that.
No.
Just after he won, a lot of the massive mainstream newspaper publications still couldn't bring themselves to just say, do you know what, he's won hugely, huge mandate behind him. Let's just respect that. Instead, there was an article in one of the newspapers saying that his nostrils were a political weapon, quote unquote.
Wow.
So if only they would just respect him instead of saying he's unelectable. He literally won an election. Not unelectable. Yeah.
And either we can pick up this one. It's not fully wrapped up. He's still floating around, but Trump's been a big subject.
Can I just say one thing about Corbyn?
You want to jump in? I was going to say,
Janet Daly always said, and we had different political beliefs maybe, Janet Daly in the Telegraph said he doesn't want to win an election. He wants to take the young generation and turn them against the system. Maybe you disagree, but that's what she thought. And so I always said in my most recent article in Israel News Online, he could be the new Lenin. But we'll talk about Trump.
Yeah, let's move on to our third big one, the big three, Trump, Brexit and Corbyn. So let's finish with Trump.
Did you watch the debate?
That saga's not fully wrapped up yet, obviously.
You didn't miss much. What?
That saga's obviously not, the Trump saga is not wrapped up yet. We still have to wait till next month. But how do you kind of feel at the stage we're at now, talking about it all year?
What I think was amazing is the way that it was so clear that Hillary Clinton was very prepared and that she did not fluster in the way that he did. And yet, CNN poll said that he kind of was in the favour of many viewers, and that there's just a bias there in how he's seen, even though he really didn't do as well.
Yeah.
Objectively speaking,
yeah.
It was subjectively seen that he did. So it's just amazing the kind of power that a man like that has.
And it's an interesting one as well, because David, you probably remember to going back to the early days of the show when
I did an imitation of Trump on the show.
You did do an imitation, but I mean we should have got that in the best bits actually.
It wasn't that good.
But don't you remember thinking that he won't even be a candidate? He won't.
I didn't think he'd make it as a candidate.
We joked about it here on the show, but yes, here we are. It's a month away to the election. How do you think it's going to pan out in the end?
Well, the one thing I'll say is Trump is a Democrat in Republican clothing. He is not a Republican by any means. And like Ted Cruz might have been a right-wing Republican, but Jeb Bush or Mario, what's his name, in Florida were more standard Republicans, would have made better candidates. He's broken all the rules. Bernie Sanders almost did it too, because he wasn't a Democrat, he was an independent. Imagine if it was the two of them. They come in from outside the parties to take over the parties, but Bernie Sanders didn't take over the Democrats. He's taken over the Republicans, and I think he might squeeze the election because of the disinfected voters who are sick of the system.
So I have to cut you off on that one, David. We'll leave that with a final word because that's actually quite a strong final word on on Trump, rather. We're going to pop over to the green room to see what Adam's guests have to say about the big three on the Daily Rundown this year.
Hello. Welcome back to the green room / office. Let's go down here because we're going to ask for their opinion of the guests out here. Right, guys. So there has been 3 major topics on the Daily Rundown over the past so many months. Corbyn, Trump, and Brexit. I want a word for each one of you. Go.
So, Trump, Corbyn, well, Brexit. There you go.
That's one word. That's good. That's fine. Stephen. Oh, he's asleep. Oh, no,
Trump, Nazi. Corbyn, wait and see. That's 3 words. Brexit, cluelessness.
Ooh, interesting. Here we go, Stephen.
Well, Trump, Corbyn, corduroy, but a good corduroy.
Yeah. Right, Ian.
Brexit was the last one.
Just one word. Go on.
Trump.
That'll do. Drew.
Trump apocalypse.
Apocalypse. There you go. How's that? Hello. We're going to throw back now. So back to Fiona.
Oh, thanks very much, Adam. And thanks to everybody for their final words, as we say, on the big 3 of the Daily Rundown. Well, sadly, it's nearly time to wrap up the last ever Daily Rundown. So before we go anywhere, let's have a little look at some of the best bits of the show. Good evening and very welcome to the Daily Rundown with me, Fiona Fox.
Dan Morfitt, Paul Burgess,
Joe Thomas Ashcroft,
Andrew Tosh,
Cal Doughty,
Martin Cooper, Mark Duffy. She can't drive very well and she has a degree in politics and communication studies. It's our producer, Emmy.
Wow, I should have checked the script, shouldn't I?
You're the producer.
You edited that before. Yeah, okay, we'll have words about this, Dan.
Nellie the elephant saw Donald Trump and she said hello to the circus. She said, Trump, Trump, Trumpety Trump, 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 she said.
Man bun.
Yeah, well, it's just a bum. You know, back to the one-time Playboy bunny. Jackie Wright.
Hello. The
Friend. Oh, right.
It's the heat.
What are we writing here?
I mean, if there's anything that this referendum has shown us is that we are divided as a nation.
Bye for now. We will all do a dab. Everyone do a dab.
God, he's got a wheelie bin, isn't it? A wheelie bin, not a vehicle. He was controlling it. It has wheels. It has a steering stick.
Since the off-camera discussion we had where you said that you are responsible for the death of Whitney Houston merely because you mentioned her name and then she passed away.
Have you ever got an animal trunk?
No, I mean, it's not really the Muslim thing to do, is it?
Where's everybody gone?
I'm not entirely sure. It has gone very quiet here.
Good times. Well, yeah, so I've been rejoined by everyone in the room. Oh, guys, no, they thought, has everyone fit in? Are we missing anybody?
No, that's everyone.
Have everybody. Sorry, obviously, except Connor, our technical director for tonight, but he has to drive the show. So, Connor, thanks so much for all your help this evening. You're not going to get your face and telly tonight, but there'll be more times. Anything last? Anyone have anything last to say?
I think we're giving away the magic of TV here a little bit.
We're giving away the magic of TV, yeah. It's a bit of a reveal. Yeah, the shutter's going to go up, you know, the dancing girls are going to come in. It's going to be a party here tonight. We haven't got to talk about James enough, James. I know you don't necessarily want to. But now this actually is the Daily Rundown. Really. He makes everything happen. They've all found their voices now. They've all found their voices.
Look at him.
His first day was the piano lesson. James, his first day was the piano incident.
Yeah, that's true. You were kind of thrown in at the deep end, weren't you, James? Have you kind of been like learning as you went, or just flying with the seat of your pants constantly? Have you?
Definitely. It's definitely been learning. Yeah.
Have you enjoyed being on the Daily Rundown or working with us all?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for all your help, because literally there's so many things that just wouldn't have happened to the show for a start if you hadn't been around. Who? Give me a final word, somebody. Maddie Howard, you're good for a final word. Your final word on the Daily Rundown. Your fizzy pop there in your hands.
Yeah, fizzy pop. It's been a blast. It's been great. It's been great to be given the opportunity to speak about things that matter.
Great.
There you go.
Well, I just like to say thank you to everybody, all of the crew here, all of the guests we've had, fantastic musical guests, writers, events, charities, everybody's been here on the Daily Rundown. And like everybody who's sitting around me really made it happen. Like, so, you know, I'll get a bit teary. And obviously all the presenters who sat on this seat as well. Thank you to everybody, and thank you to you at home for watching all of the Daily Rundowns. We won't be back next week, but there'll be something else fantastic and luscious for you to watch here on That's Manchester, I'm sure. Until then, until next time, until sometime.
Let's just do a big long wave.
We'll do a big long wave. Will we do a slow clap? Good night.